Welcome to Wings Club Dissected, a segment in which I carve into specific topics regarding the aforementioned show and see what the hell is going on. In this edition, we will take a look at the first transformation of Season 6 that for whatever reason was painfully named Blue Mix. To properly do so, we will split this dissection into different categories and examine them individually. The grounds we will cover are criteria, spells, looks, transformation sequence, and theme song. This dissection will be more on the first impression of the transformation, since there's really not much we can go with given that it's still brand new and we've barely seen it in action. So, without further ado, let's cut this mother up. What we know about Blue Mix is that it's a power born from the Dragon Flame, which Miss Almighty decided to share with her recently depowered friends. After the Wings lost their powers confronted the powers of the Legendarium, they were rendered powerless. So with a touch of Bloom's magic, they were able to use limited magic until they could activate their powers again, along with a brand new set of wings, through good and brave actions worthy of a fairy. I was super excited when I found out that they would have to actually do something to earn this power, and that they do it individually. Took me right back to the glory days of Enchantix, until it actually started to happen. First of all, let's get the name out of the way. It sucks. Even if they gave us a good reason as to why it was called Blue Mix, it still sucks. But they didn't, so it sucks even more. Faragonda just casually mentions the name, and no one even flinches. A lot of fans assumed that the name was because after the fairies lose their powers, they would have to bloom into a new transformation. I guess we're doing that now, giving the writers more credit than they're due. And the thing is, the name in itself isn't all that bad, but being another thing that's Bloom-centric, it feels like a slap in the face. Anyhow, back on track. The criteria for earning the power was very vague and loose. Flora went retro and decided to save her sister Miele again. She should just save that girl every year or so, see what new powers may pop up. I guess you can say what she did was brave, but honestly, Miele didn't seem to be in that much danger. She had her own wings, but I guess Flora's heart was in the right place. Good for her. Now here's where it went downhill face first. As I said, I thought we were gonna have each girl earning her powers back individually, confronting her own shortcomings, rising up to the occasion and overcome her fears or insecurities in a courageous way, setting a great example for little girls watching the show with actions not only worthy of a fairy, but worthy of a human being. Instead, we got this. Flora tried to convince us that it was Aisha and Stella's bravery and quick thinking that earned them the power. And one could argue that they had somewhat of a wise plan, which was ultimately to trick the Basilisk into looking at each other and turn themselves into stones. But seriously, all I saw was a backflip. Later in the episode, Bloom, Stella, Flora, and Aisha are quickly knocked down, leaving the two fairies with limited to no magic to fend for themselves. How convenient. With Tecna as her GPS, Musa goes all Hamelin Piper and guides some mutated rats into a cave. Because it meets all of the topographic requirements, of course. Musa does an impromptu concert that would put Christina Aguilera to shame. And before you know it, it's Blue Mix time. They definitely had a bit more content than Aisha and Stella, but still, I am not impressed. In the episode after that, Bloom's generosity backfires when she, out of nowhere, gets weak as a twig for sharing her flame. After a series of rapid-fire events, what the hell scenes, characters being useless and the Jasper going apeshit psychopath, Bloom is thrown into the vortex of flames and passes whatever task that was supposed to be. I guess being weak to her is like a scratch to us because she still manages to summon the most badass looking dragon I've ever seen on the show. After defeating Duma's illegitimate brother, Bloom blooms into Blue Mix. Although the animation was pleasing to the eyes, I was still not all that impressed. I truly was expecting a tad bit more out of all of them. The girls worked hard and truly earned their Enchantix through the span of 11 episodes. Blue Mix took 3 episodes, cramming 4 possibilities into just one. I'm guessing it's to make room to let Blue Mix shine enough before the second transformation, Mythix, comes along. There isn't much I can say about the spells. As I mentioned, we haven't exactly seen them in action enough for that, but from what we've seen so far, I'm indecisive. Flora's Spring Shower, not to be confused with Miele's Spring Flower, looked nice. Her lilac vortex was also cute. I really liked how Aisha's Morphix Cloud looked. Her water bolt could have been better named, but it was okay. Ray of Pure Light is too long of an attack spell name in my opinion. And Harmony Blast should have been a spell for Musa, not Tecna. Musa can summon her own speakers and definitely doesn't need the technology fairy to amplify her voice for her. So far, much like Cyrenix, the Bloom Mix spells look generally all the same and doesn't bring anything new to the table. They look like old spells that could have been used in Cyrenix form, and there wouldn't have been any difference. Seriously, they need to take notes from whoever designed the harmonic spells. Also, why every time they attack for the first time after they transform, their wings release energy? I thought Mythics was gonna have a wing center team. Here is where Bloom Mix elevates. It looks awesome. It's definitely a step up from Cyrenix and Believix. Maybe even Harmonix. Maybe. There are a few things that I would change, such as some hairstyles. Stella's for example. I don't mind the side ponytail, but that little piece of Forgotten Soul on the other side makes me cringe. It looks like that piece of hair that's shorter than the rest, so it doesn't really fit into your ponytail, so you don't really know what to do with it, so you just leave it there. What happened, Stella? Oh, you've got a video of the incident? Yikes. Explains a lot. I also don't like Musa's hairstyle. That rejected Mulan Bond thingy has got to go. Something like her Harmonix hair would have been better. Tecna's bangs need some smoothing out too, and I don't like the random highlights. And with Flora, I don't like the dreads being right on top of her head like that. I'd prefer something more like her Enchantix hairstyle. Another thing I changed, the wings. I love Stella's, Musa's and Flora's wings. Aisha's wings are passable. However, I do not like Bloom's and Tecna's wings. I don't know what my issue with Bloom's wings is. It does have a nice design, but it feels out of place. I like her original concept wings much better. Same with Tecna. Those angular biscuits do not look good. Her original concept wings had these pretty amazing designs that really reflected her personality and power. I'd really like a good view of all of the Bloom Mix concept designs actually. But other than these things, Bloom Mix looks fantastic. I love the mythical warrior look they went with. It's the first time they've actually looked powerful since Enchantix. Tecna's is by far my favorite. She's got this robotic armor thing going on that's really working for her. It looks ancient, modern, and futuristic at the same time. Now, oddly, it's blue though, not purple, which is Tecna's main color. I'm not crazy with the whole color switcheroo that's been happening lately, but I don't really mind this one because it actually looks really good on her. All of the outfits have some really complicated and intricate design that are worth exploring. And although each costume seems to focus on each fairy's powers and personality individually, they still feel cohesive and work as a group. I have a love-hate relationship with the transformation sequences. They're good, but they fell prey to some of the same things the 2D Cyrenix had. For starters, it again follows the same formula for all of them. Intro displaying hair and jam, accessory materializes, overall costume appears, twirling and dancing with some energy that shapes the wings, unnecessary flying shot, and final pose. But here's where it takes a few steps back. When the energy that shapes the costumes covers their body, their costume is already underneath it. There was no actual shaping of the costumes, the energy just drops and reveals their clothing. I don't know why this annoys me so much, but it really feels lazy. The flash animation strikes again too. It's better than Cyrenix, granted, but some shots go way too fast, like it was done in a rush, and the lack of smoothness in some of the movements really cheapens the animation. The characters go from A to B almost stuck in the same position, like moving something with your cursor on your computer. But the transformations are still nice to look at, especially Tecna's. Those colors and effects along with the background, really majestic. The song sucks though. I like the verses. The beat is hot and the melody works, but that's about it. The intro is lame. The chorus is ridiculous. The lyrics are mediocre and the vocals are boring. Did Alicia even want to sing this song? The background singers sound better. I mean, no offense to her or anything, but we know she can do better. The song was produced by Michelle Betali, Stefano Carrara, and Fabrizio Castagna, whom also wrote the lyrics along with Peter Sizzo, with Alicia Orlando, Elisa Aramonte, and Elena Boroni on the vocals. 7 people worked on the creation of this song. How did we end up getting something like this? Especially comparing it to the Serenix team, which only had 3 sets of hands on it. The Blue Mix team was a huge disappointment. Winx Club is known for having amazing transformation teams. What the hell happened? They should have had Elisa Rosselli and Maurizio Daniello work on this one. They make magic. Blue Mix as a whole seems to be hit or miss. Where it's good, it shines like $1,000,000, but where it's bad, it stinks like a black mud swamp throw. Let's hope it gradually gets better as the season progresses. I am WCD and this has been Winx Club Dissected.